Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2013 World Championship Series Global Finals. We have had an amazing first game, a TVT which went all the way to 5 maps. Startail Bomber, the man that's gone through. Let's show you the bracket just to show you where we are in the tournament over the next 2 days. Startail Bomber confirmed going through to the next round after his victory in match number 1 against MMA. I can tell you right now, SOS is currently 2-1 up against Hero in the other game that's being played right now. But we're going to move on to our next matchup. Before we do that, though, let's check in with the boys on the desk. DJ Wheat.
Thank you very much, Paul. Excited to go into the second round of 16 matchup. As you just heard, as Paul said, SOS up 2-1. And that third game must have been pretty long because when we were checking into things, it sat on 2-0 for quite a while. We'll talk a little bit about that as we get the results. But guys, the next match we've got coming up, it's Maru versus MC. And I'm definitely curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Without giving away your predictions yet, tell me what you think about this matchup.
I already explained a little bit earlier how Maru likes to go for the multitask, and he doesn't seem to want to go for ghosts too often. He wants to end the game quite quickly. As the boss toss, I mean, if I had to face Maru, I would be very impressed. I'm already very impressed by him, but the boss toss does not very easily get impressed. So he might go into this game with full confidence as we know him, and it's going to be very interesting to see what build he goes for.
All right, well, In Control, you did not get a chance to speak before the break, so I expect that the gears have turned, it's gone through. I'm not sure if you've maybe changed who you think might win or how this match. Okay, so
absolutely not.
Before revealing who it's going to be, I just want to hear what your thoughts about this matchup in general.
Part of the absolute special treat that is BlizzCon is that I can't look at this round of 16 and find any of these pairings uninteresting. And this one, of course, does not disappoint. MC eclipsing the $400,000 mark in terms of winnings from StarCraft 2. If he wins this, it'll be over 500,000. He is that old guard. He's the guy that has entertained for 3-4 years now in StarCraft 2. He's called the boss toss. There's people that hold up signs that say 4 more years with like the presidential different color thing. He's the guy. And of course, Maru is your Season 2 Korea champion, which is a gigantic feat. That's the equivalent of a Codes, GSL run. He's an amazing aggressive player, not in the same way of like an MMA where a lot of that aggression comes at the cost of perhaps the macro aspect of the game, or perhaps a little bit more one-dimensional that way would be MMA. I feel like Maru is a little bit closer to the complete package in terms of being capable of being aggressive, but also being able to do the rest of the game as well. So it's really dynamic that way. Again, young versus old. But I did talk to MC, and Todd said it. He said, I don't think he won't be confident going into this, which is a little bit generic because that's MC in a nutshell, right? That guy is confident no matter what he does. But I grabbed a drink with him and said, what do you think about your match against Maru? And he said very simply, easy peasy is I think exactly what he said. And he said 3-1. He always plays the same in every series is what he said. And he said it's always, I think he said 11-11 or CC first.
And people have been very critical of him about that.
So MC thinks he's got this in the bag. I believe in MC, and I want 4 more years of that guy.
I think a lot of folks out here in the crowd would absolutely agree with you. Now, Maru, the up-and-comer, and I mentioned earlier how dangerous I feel like some of these guys are. I mean, you think about it, like, you're not even close to what is considered your prime as a professional gamer. And there's a lot of things, though, like, there may be a lack of care or concern. The pressure becomes a little bit less. But the experience between these two is night and day. MC, a guy who's probably been to most of the countries in the world, versus Maru, who has not had the, obviously not every country in Control, I know that's going through, but, and Maru,
ready to judge you.
No experience as far as that's concerned on the international stage. So how much do you feel like that comes in? This is a huge crowd right here, but he's also been up in a GSL final. So, what do you think? Does this have a factor into the matchup?
I mentioned that MC probably was not impressed with his opponent as I would be personally, but I think the same applies for Maru. I've read interviews of him. I heard him in interviews in his previous events. I remember him having an interview and basically saying, "I already know I'm the best Terran, so at this point I'm just trying to win the tournament." And this is the kind of confidence this guy goes for in interviews. He always says very explicitly he thinks he's going to win, and this is going to be no different. Against MC, he's just going to want to look to play his very best, secure himself the win, My only question here is, does he go for a similar style that he used against Deere in the World Finals, which in the end he ended up losing, but he played some very epic games? Or does he play this completely differently?
It's an interesting mix too, because MC absolutely has it in spades in terms of experience. He's been all over the place, like you said. But then on the flip side, and how do you weigh it against this? Maru has that kind of Justin Bieber nation, I don't really care, I'm kind of gangster attitude, and that young mind that doesn't have as much clouding it up. A lot of times, those are the guys that sit on stage and win big tournaments. I mean, look at Life.
Right.
The guy was, I think he was 7 years old when he won his first 5 GSLs, something like that.
Just about to
yeah.
turn
So it's interesting to look at, because MC has the experience, but it's versus the inexperience, but the confidence from that inexperience and being young that could give him that edge as well.
All right, well, why don't we do our predictions now going into Maru versus MC for the round of 16. Todd, I'm going to start with you. Who takes it?
I think Maru is going to take it 3-2-1.
All right, Maru 3-2, coming from Todd.
You said 3-1.
3-2-1.
A
The
3-1.
2 made it confusing, I agree. But you can never have a 3 without a 2
without
and a 1.
a 2
And a 1.
and a 1.
And as they say in France, it's jamais le fromage.
No.
Le fromage.
I understood what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Easy call for me. You've been hearing my confidence in MC. I think it's going to be 3-1. I believe. I think his prediction and his confidence will carry him through.
All right, well, now that we've got the predictions out, these two have met before. In both cases, Maru has defeated MC, and in both cases, 2-1. How is this third matchup between these two going to play out? We're going to find out here as it's time to introduce our players, and we're sending it to Red Eye.
Thank you very much, Wheat. And yes, it's time to introduce you to the players. But before we get there, this first guy is against the odds in terms of the crowd. He is playing a man who is massively popular, but he has a message for you. Here's why you should cheer for Maru.
Maru's the player that brings cheese to a whole new level. You have no idea what he's going to be throwing at you.
제 경기 보신 분들이라면 저를 응원할 수밖에 없을 것 같아요.
Oh my God! Phoenix Shaw! Oh man, what a trooper!
Maru is the youngest player here by a long shot. He's 16 years old, and he's coming fresh off a first place win.
나이는 별 상관없는 것 같아요. 저는 실력이 더 중요하지 나이는 별로 중요하지 않는 것 같아요. 민철이 형 경기를 챙겨보지도 않았고 별로 신경도 안 쓰이는 형이라서 그냥 평상시대로 하면 이길 것 같아요.
For him, he's just riding the momentum swing up, and he has all the confidence in the world behind him.
He's a full force at the front door of Innovation. Innovation does not want to change.
그냥 제가 생각했던 성적을 내는 기분 좋고 이번 글로벌 파이널도 꼭 우승해서 돌아가죠.
Ladies and gentlemen, the WCS Korea Season 2 champion representing Prime, Maru! And going up against the 16-year-old is a wily old veteran, a two-time GSL champion, the man who has earned more prize money than any other StarCraft 2 player in history. He's the boss toss from SK Gaming, MC! Wow, what an entry from the boss toss. Is he nervous, or is nerves a good thing? Let's find out from the man himself.
My name is Min-Chul Jang, my nickname is SKMC, and I'm playing Protoss.
Oh, it goes down there. The force field's actually pushed a few of those stalkers straight forward. MC is looking to camp these production facilities.
I played many foreigners tournament, but BlizzCon is first time. so I have some nervous, but nervous is good because some nervous is make good skill. So I will show you guys really good games.
Whoa, MC with a comeback. Fantastic game from MC.
I didn't special training because Maru is not hard. I'm just don't focusing Maru, I focusing innovation because he's my second match and he's really good talent player.
GG! Innovation wins season 1 of the WCS 4-0.
I make second. I'm so sad because I lost final, but now Minsik, my manager, he changed my mind. If you get second, good money, good prize money, you are still good. So second is good and third is good. I'm just want against Deer because in season 3 final, I'm so unlucky. I will show you Deer who is more luck. My name is Min-chul Jang. I'm a strong player. I'm the boss.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BlizzCon. I'm Day 9, reunited with my other favorite Sean in the whole wide world, Apollo. Let's talk a little bit about this map veto that we got between these two players. Obviously, Maru, a huge fan of the mind games in the series, doing the big cheese plays. But, I mean, MC really good at picking apart his opponent's goals and their techniques and sort of matchups. How is that going to factor into this map veto?
MC will want to eliminate maps that Maru has great success on, and maps like Belshir Vestige is where Maru's done very well actually when it comes to his stats. But I really think that it comes down to personal preference. MC, even though he knows where Maru is strong, needs to consider that there are weaker Protoss maps here that Terran can pick up on.
I think that this is a great set of 2 downvotes. Polar Knight, known to be one of the most difficult to scout around maps. There's not one center, there's 2 paths between the 2 bases, and of course all the side spots to maneuver around. Good choice, I think, for Maru to throw Akalon Waste out of the way. MC loves that map.
Maru's decided to go Whirlwind for map number 1 here, a very macro-oriented playstyle that we usually see on Whirlwind. Not the playstyle of these 2 players, though, that we usually see.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time these players are real timing attack oriented, particularly MC, who loves to just get gateway. He was even joking about that when he was casting at WCS Grand Finals. He is a huge gateway unit player, especially in this matchup, Whirlwind. Pretty tricky to play gateway heavy on that map, early on at least. Very much so favors the defense. Derelict Watcher, Yunsu, Belshir Vestige, and I think Frost. A fantastic final map. I really want to get to that in Game 5 because that'll really test their long-term gameplay.
Well, there is the handshake, and both players will make their way to the booth now as the second series of the day here on the main stream is about to begin. And I'm quite excited for this one. Both players are very aggressive. We know how each of them play. But how are they going to play now is the big question.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's interesting about MC is that, he's even joking, Maru's going to go 11-11 barracks, or he's going to be going directly into CC first.
Yeah.
Maru likes to do what I would call the sort of traditional tricky plays. MC, very, very unpredictable, but I'll call Maru like predictably unpredictable in this series. He does have a tendency to try to come right out the gate with big cheese plays.
But I think that Maru's, he is a very intelligent player. He knows that MC is going to be studying how he usually plays here. So, for example, Whirlwind is a big open map to begin with, where we do see command center first, as you describe so often. But is he playing into this? Remember, he chose this map first of all. Is he just going to play the norm here, or is he really going to play mind games with MC?
I honestly think that both players are going to be going command center first. I think Maru's doing it because this is the map where it's very safe to do that against a general Protoss, but MC thinks on a whole nother level in my eyes. Maru's definitely very new. He has that OSL championship under his belt, but MC has a lot of first place under his belt.
Yeah, MC, the highest earning player of all time. But here is Maru, a 16-year-old who played his first televised game at the age of 13, who's grown up playing and just understanding how StarCraft 2 works, is a WCS career champion in Season 2. The youngest competitor at BlizzCon as well here, just 16 years old.
And that win percentage is almost unfair. I know you can't debate that it's 48% against Protoss, but his late game is quite strong. Played a really magnificent series against Deer. I really think that Maru's big strength is absolutely early game play, and not because that's where cheese happens, but also his cheese defense is uncanny. I think that MC, if he wants to be able to beat Maru, it's going to be trying to make the game go as long as possible, or doing mid-game strikes.
I mean, let's talk about that, because I completely agree with you. I think the longer the game goes on, the stronger MC will become. But MC is known for being aggressive in the early and mid game, where Maru is the strongest. So does MC have to hold back his own style to be able to win and be successful here?
Well, one thing that's really impressive about MC is that all his aggression has a follow-up. For instance, he likes to be opening big blink plays. We've seen him do that very recently at the WCS Grand Finals for Season 3. MC opened a big blink play to try to do an aggressive attack, but then knew exactly how to follow up with a fast expand, get Storm, get Zealot Charge, double upgrades just in time. And that, I think, is what Maru's going to struggle with the most, because about 90% of players, at least, when they have a big attack planned, it falls apart after that. Almost always you think, how do I hold off just this one attack, and then, aha, I've won. But MC always has an extra base or two, an extra forge or two.
All right, well, here is the first map of this best of 5 series. It's going to be Whirlwind, a 4-player map where players can spawn in any of the 4 locations here. And this is traditionally played a slower, longer, more macro-oriented style here. Do you expect both players just to play to the map then?
Yeah, I mean, like, standard norms are going to be getting Colossus or Templar for defense and getting 3 bases and upgrades as fast as possible. That's the real core platform that Protosses build their gameplay around. When do you deviate from that? Well, if you can do really interesting Dark Templar War Prism play, that's probably the strongest off-the-cuff strat on this map. Everything else is quite weak. Going for big, aggressive blink plays, very weak. Trying to do aggressive early game gateway stuff, very weak. Maybe you could argue going for a 4-gate expand is very strong. But even then, the fact that there's such a controlled, clear, simple ramp makes it very difficult to really be tricky.
Do you think that MC's unpredictability, that we know him, he can change up every single game, will that give him a really a large strength coming into this series for these 5 maps?
I mean, it always has. I mean, MC's like amazing at, you know, us saying things like, oh, well, he definitely don't want to go blink on this map. And then he goes 8-gate blink and just makes it work somehow. I mean, also 7-gate. 2 base all-ins, MC's been a very big fan of since the dawn of time. And that 63% win rate against Terran, that's, I think it was something like he's played over 1,400 televised games. I mean, he has played a lot on the big stage, so.
MC's had a very interesting career. I mean, he was, you know, the best Protoss player at the beginning of StarCraft 2 for a very long time, but he did have a bit of a dip when it came to his results. But in recent times, he's put a lot of effort into regaining those results, getting back-to-back finals in the WCS Europe Premier League. Still without a win for a very long time, though.
MC, though, he's allowed to get seconds. That is, like, totally fine, you know? There's no legacy of him not getting all the way being established yet. I mean, every results sheet you look at is just a ton of firsts. So many. In fact, I even think it's something like 9% of his $400,000 prize pool winning even came from WCS. All the rest has been him traveling around to international tournaments, winning 2 GSLs, winning in America, winning in Europe. Nothing really seems to phase MC, like sleep schedules, that sort of thing. Maru has been very sensitive to time zone changes, really affecting his performance.
How much do you think it will affect him, though? I mean, like you said, MC's got so much experience here. Do you think that this can be a factor in this best of 5?
I definitely do. Maru, you know, though he went quite deep in the Season 3 Grand Finals, definitely looked shaky when he said he was tired. He was able to pull it together and make it count, but we saw a lot of more unusual mistakes. Scanning in wrong locations and not sniping the observer, having it be just a little bit out of the way. Running his medevacs into cannons and Templar when he saw them. I mean, his attention does tend to go down in those spots.
So, okay, so we have both of these players here. We'll just need a couple of minutes before we get into this. If you were to outline the key to success to both players in a couple of sentences, where do you think it really lies?
I think the biggest thing that Maru needs to do is really do what MC does. MC does little slightly tricky moves and forces you to way overreact because of his image. Things like, what's the standard amount of gateways to have early on 2 bases? 2 or 3. simple defensive amount. But you'll see MC throw down 4 and then just build a proxy pylon and then go straight into tech. And we see Terrans responding strongly, building too many bunkers, delaying their starport too much. Maru has the same kind of image. He can do something very simple, like go for a proxy 1 barracks Reaper and then pull into something very standard. I actually really like watching Maru's late game. I think his late game control, especially when there's good terrain to exploit, is excellent. Whirlwind is not the best map to do that on, but going for straightforward macro game, I think, is going to be Maru's biggest key.
So one of the things I've noticed through watching MC play in the Europe region throughout this year, especially against Terran players, is very heavy when it comes to gateway units.
Oh yeah.
You know, loves to play gateway units, not teching up too fast. But Maru has a playstyle that really relies heavily on Marine Marauders and really delaying ghosts.
Oh yeah.
Lots of Medivacs, low Vikings count. I mean, how are those 2 army compositions going to react to each other?
So here's what I'm thinking in that. It's really dangerous the way that Protoss had been playing the matchup, which is to switch between techs really fast. One of these, I'm going to have all my gateways, all my upgrades. I'm going to have Colossus tech, I'm going to have Templar tech and Storm and Charge and Blink, and I'm going to have like 9 units. And I'm going to defend 4 bases with that. You know, it's like so thin, and it's really easy to crush it with exactly what we're talking about with Maru. But MC does tend to play a little bit slower. He doesn't just get 1 Colossus with no range and dip into Templar. He's getting 3 Colossus range. He's the one who'll get 10, 12 Templar before he switches. So I think Maru just needs to play patiently against someone like MC and be focusing definitely on the expanding rather than on the attacking. Well, looks like our game has started. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the 3rd match of the day. It's going to be Maru versus MC. Young versus old.
All right, so down here, playing for Team Prime, the red Terran player. Make some noise for Maru!
And his opponent, a man who makes my job of introducing players very easy. No matter how I want to hype him, I only need to do one thing. Say his name. SKMC! Likely the most famous Protoss of all time, MC. Really stunning in all matchups, but you know his PvT has really always been my favorite.
Yeah, he's so aggressive, he's so unpredictable, you have no idea what he's going to do. His control is always spectacular. MC, one of a kind.
Guess what's happening? Oh, it's a command center first coming up from Maru, but here's what's funky to me. MC has already thrown down his gateway. MC knows what Maru's tendency is on this map. I mean, looking back at Maru's games in Terran vs. Protoss on this map, it's like really close to 100% command center first.
Yeah.
Now, the reason for that, even with the predictability there, still safe. I mean, even if you chrono boost out 2 Zealots, you still can easily defend with a command center first. So MC's likely going to be getting a second gas and doing some sort of tricky tech play, I would imagine. I would theorize this, Apollo.
Well, he could do that day 9. I mean, it's really one way or the other here for MC. He either tries to be super aggressive and tech-oriented early on, or he just takes a very early Nexus himself, expecting what we're seeing from Maru to happen.
But this is interesting already. Look at this. 1 gas geyser from MC. Maru's obviously going to be going for the 2 barracks straight away. He would never do anything that would deviate too strongly, but MC does tend to like getting 2 gases even when he is early expanding. Sometimes even leaving 3 in each gas geyser. So this, to me, looks a little bit like a gateway timing push. He might expand and go gateways, but I mean, what are your thoughts on this opening from MC?
Well, for MC here, without a second gas, he's just going to play towards an expansion play. Well, just grabbing the expansion nice and early here. The deviations afterwards, I think that MC is going to start this series off. He's got so much experience here. I think he would play normal. After expanding, take a second gas, and then just probably look towards teching up from this position.
Well, I mean, there's the Nexus going down right now. It's looking really standard, actually getting the Nexus before the Mothership Core for the fastest expo possible. We're seeing the Chrono Boost there, and it looks like, yeah, totally right. There's no Warp Gate in sight. In fact, it looks like he's even going to throw down his Pylon and second gas and his Stalker before even beginning the Warp Gate research. So, I mean, MC is playing surprisingly conservatively, given what he knows about Maru.
Yeah, it was a nice and early scout here from MC, so he is going to be able to react to how this game's being played out. He knows that his opponent, for example, is not going to be aggressive very early on in the game through having this command center first. He did actually decide to build the Stalker before the Warp Gate research here. This Stalker with the Mothership Core could prevent Maru from seeing what's happened so far.
It's definitely a scout denial type technique. I mean, the reason you would want to go gateway Nexus when you know you're not being threatened, well, okay, so that's the opposite of what MC wants. Here comes the SCV. It's going to march straight up into the main base. It's going to see so much vital information. Oh! Now, there was a split second where he could see if there was a chrono boost going down on the warp gate. That's definitely what Maru wants to be looking for.
Maru was playing a little bit greedy because he's only just now decided to build the bunker. That is quite late considering the MC definitely known for going for a fast Zealot, Stalk, a Mothership Core, a build to punish Command Center first here, but the bunker will finish just in time. I mean, Maru must be scared of potential Stargate play or anything here because he has not scouted properly whether MC has taken 1 or 2 gases at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of little subtle timings that are going on with Maru. I mean, obviously he's going to get stim and eventually a factory and an engineering bay, but none of those things have come down yet because he's spending all of his money building Marines, building SCVs and depots. He is playing as defensively as possible. Look at that, 4 Marines just chilling in the main base. SCV going to check the flanks up at the 3rd. He's absolutely terrified of some sort of early pressure because again, this is how MC gets into your head.
Yeah, I mean, a Terran player in this position, he's just covering all angles. He's opened up very economically focused. But so far, MC's decided to take the fast forge. He's got the +1 armor on the way, now deciding on the 2 assimilators on the natural here, but still no tech choice yet.
Now that's unusual. Normally you would want to get very, very early double gas at your natural expansion because you're going Colossus, because you're going for some sort of big Templar tech, but here we see the latest robo facility of all time, a 7-minute robo. That to me doesn't. Okay, I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't. You normally want to get a 6-minute robo if you want to be going Colossus with the early gas, or you don't get the early gas and you go Templar. So MC's doing a little bit of both. I would expect him to be going down the Templar tech route.
Well, Maru just scanned inside the main base here. He's seen the forge, and he has seen the later robotics facility add-on here. Didn't quite see the gateways being added on, but he has picked up the information as just described.
Now this is another MC classic, extra gateways. What I'm seeing out of Maru, like a lot, it's a very conservative way to play. I mean, look at that. He's gotten all his add-ons swiftly at a safe time so he can power up, so he can get that sort of good money tech. There's the Twilight Council going down for MC, and what a great timing by Maru. He scanned, he didn't see the gateways, so he's saying, great, I'll push and maybe even bait out a photon overcharge.
Yeah, and I think that may be the case here, but there are 4 sentries that MC's decided to warp in. Depending on when these gateways finishes, imagine if there was 4 Zealots. He could absolutely, force field these units around and really punish Maru's movement out.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Maru's trying to exploit a Protoss player who's cutting units and teching too fast. MC almost never cuts gateway units. We see 4 sentries, 3 stalkers, and Maru might very well walk into a trap. But look at this, Maru's already anticipated that MC might have some special defense, has a leading SCV to scout ahead. 3 stalkers are going to be more than enough for Maru to know that he needs to wait for those medevacs.
Well, MC has seen this army in the middle of the map here. He does have the double forge coming down, and once again, as explained earlier, MC loves his gateway units here.
Yeah.
Double forge, blink on the way. It looks like he is interested in taking a 3rd Nexus soon, but that will get denied for now.
Uh-oh, 7 gates is going to be the total for MC, and get this, no charge, no Templar. It's going to be all big Alden Stalkers, and I don't know how MC is so good at getting these reads. Maru has skipped a 3rd command center. He has gone straight for 2 additional barracks. There's the Observer only just now getting there, so somehow there was some precognition from MC and he knew it was up. He already has all the defenses he needs to deflect this. That's not even a really bad move to throw down that photon overcharge because soon enough MC's going to have blink.
Yeah, he's going to have blink, and Maru's got to be very careful here. Remember, the key to success here for MC is surviving to the longer stages, which is why we see the double forges down. That's really going to emphasize where MC can pick up the wins.
There's the Templar Archives planting down. Going to be transitioning pretty slowly into that tech route. Maru is leaving himself 2 big options. He's shut out MC's 3rd, so he's easily going to be able to take a 3rd himself. Not really anything has been lost by either side, but Maru still has the opportunity to do an SCV pull and an all-in. If he sees any Colossus at any point, he's going to shove, but once he identifies that it's a Templar play, he's going to be playing very, very long-term. Here's the first attempted push from Maru. MC looks like he's going to shut it down, but Maru's kind of pushing aggressively forward.
Nice force field there by MC, and a nice pickup there from Maru. Does escape.
That was a sick pickup.
Yeah, it does escape with the majority of his units here, but if what you said may happen, where we could see an attack from Maru, the Templar Archives is done. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Storm research in the next couple of seconds here. And if we were to see one of those big attacks from Maru with SCVs, I don't know how successful that's really going to be.
Yeah. Looks like going to be straight Zealot Archon, +2 attack en route. Is +3 armor going down at any point for MC? It doesn't look like it. He's just kind of, oh, there it is, now starting down, so.
But, I mean, these upgrades that MC's invested in so early on, they're going to play a big factor in this game.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, this is not going to go very well for Maru at all. I mean, he does have those. Oh, no, getting completely cornered. Vikings don't really know what their meaning in life is right now. Medevac gets picked off. MC is just defending very well and playing so slowly.
And he hasn't taken any damage, which is crucial in any Terran versus Protoss game. The Terran player needs to slow the Protoss down. The upgrades are just that very shortly we're going to have +2 attack and +3 armor that's on its way, where currently we only have Maru at 1-1 upgrades, only just now starting the +2 attack, and bear in mind he does not have a second engine mirror bay until just this second.
I mean, being this far behind as Terran really means that there's a closing time window. You either got to go now or you got to wait till you're at 25 minutes into the game. Look at that drop tech getting shut down, just parked around at the outside of the main base, not really having a clear avenue in. MC splitting up his army perfectly. Maru's trying to charge in here, but the number of speed zealots, the amount of upgrades from MC is amazing. He has 7 gateways pumping out, even though this third isn't done yet. Uh-oh.
The Stalkers have left from the main base, though. It's become exposed.
Uh-oh, well, looks like MC's going to try to do a little bit of micro action. Has done a great job annihilating the force that's at his third base, but up in the main. Looks like he's going to snipe. Oh, not today.
But look at in the middle of the map here. Zealots have made their way through to the third base of Maru here. An excellent move from MC. His opponent has all his units on the other side.
This is why MC loves these gateway units so much. He can attack, he can defend, he can warp in, he can counterattack, but he has to be on point with that positioning because look, MC moving all the way on out. He's left his main exposed, he's left his third exposed, but Maru is in the wrong position.
MC has a lot of units here, Day9. He also has great upgrades as well. And he needs to be careful here. 3 sentries do get picked off. And MC kind of not the best attack here.
MC sort of let himself get surrounded, moved a little bit farther forward. I think he thought he had a bigger advantage than he did. Positioning is everything. Maru, with plenty of space to micro around, decimates the counter from MC.
Well, that really didn't work out too well there from MC. He kind of had his units coming from every angle. There was no reinforcement pile, and his movement out there was a little bit too overly aggressive. +3 armor has finished for him, so that will help, but he lost a lot of units there.
Yeah, and he's, most importantly, a little low on Templar, but the storms are true. Nails it down. Now, in these tight situations, Protoss player has to begin pumping out Immortals because Marauders are his biggest threat. Marauders can kite small numbers of units very, very easily, and that is where MC is going to try to avoid falling behind.
Yeah, well, MC needs to rebuild his army. He's got 3 extra Greatways coming in. He will have +3 attack very, very soon. These High Templar do move back from that single Marauder here. MC very far behind in supply, though.
Only now the Ghost Academy going down for Maru, who is ramping up the aggression, dropping the main base. 3 more gateways are going to try to go down, but uh-oh, MC is going to lose power on 3, the essential gateways.
And MC just very low in units right now. After that movement out into the center of the map, he's going to have a very hard time defending against this.
Wow, I mean, amazing drop control from Maru, who has avoided blink snipes twice in a row at key times this game. And we see the small unit control from Maru is really reigning supreme in this game.
And he's starting to catch up with upgrades as well, so this is not getting any easier here for the boss toss. And Maru just moving forward, a nice storm there, but these units just move straight out of it and get healed immediately.
Wow, I mean, MC's still holding on strong, but in the far top right, those 2 medevacs are just chilling, waiting. Spot an opportunity. They're all going to drop. Forge is not yet done with +3 attack. A couple of those units return, but the Immortals are all going around to the wrong side, and the Archon's going to fall, and Maru again picks up at the last second.
And more behind this. 3 command centers. 4th one about to finish. He's catching up with his upgrades, and given an opportunity, a player like Maru is not going to let this go.
Wow. Probe. SCV count still high. This engagement could be very nice for MC. A beautiful time warp, an excellent storm. Back-to-back double plays. Looks like MC will be able to push back Maru temporarily. 3-3 is done for Protoss, but whoa, Maru's spamming the macro buttons, getting a huge swath of M&M.
Just very simple play here from Maru. Just lots of units. No Vikings, no Ghosts. just lots of units and attacking at different angles. MC is having a hard time. He is dealing with it quite well. He is starting to catch up in supply here.
Well, looks like he's going to try to shove back as best as possible. The Immortals are doing some work in the main base. It looks like the medevac drop has tried to do a little bit of damage, but Zealots have greeted it. MC seems to be stabilizing. He's actually pushing back Maru.
Yeah, without these ghosts, I mean, it's very difficult to deal with a lot of Zealots and a lot of Archons in this, and MC is pushing his opponent back, but he doesn't want to overextend here. Once again, there's 2 Archons, there's Immortals, these are expensive units.
I mean, what is happening with MC? He is going way far out of position. That's almost always one of his greatest strengths. I mean, to see MC making mistakes like this is a real surprise.
I think he really realizes his strength in this game are his upgrades. If somehow he's able to take a good fight with these upgrades before Maru gets to 3-3, maybe there's some way back to an equal game here for MC.
Really cool plays from Maru, loading up some of those medevacs, sending him to the top the instant he feels that MC is a little bit thin on units. Like you say, 4th command center down. I mean, Maru is playing brilliantly in this game.
Yeah, he's really not letting MC breathe too much here. More units inside the main base. These are going to pick off gateways, probes, anything they can. And during the middle of the map, we are going to have a large movement forward once again by Maru Prime.
The Immortal doing a lot of work there. MC's trying to engage out and force this push back in the middle, but I mean, MC's under-dedicated to really both fronts. A nice storm does damage to the front lines, but in the main base, more and more Protoss buildings are starting to fall. It looks like Warpins are not going to be enough. A Templar is going to just walk to death. Oh no, MC.
And Maru is just microing so well now, dodging all the storms, just on the edge of the storm line, and when it does land, he just moves immediately out of it here. And a couple there, actually good ones there for MC, but look at this, just powering forward. As we can see on the mini-map, this is just power play for Maru. 4th command center, units streaming across, and MC may be broken here day 9.
MC's just getting wrecked. He has to tap out. GG, Maru takes the series to 1-0. In really the opposite fashion of how we thought things were going to be breaking down. I mean, we talked about Maru trying to prepare for MC. How would his gameplay be affected? But I mean, in that game, it was clear that MC was the one on the psychological back foot. He played so carefully and so slowly in that match.
It's very easy to highlight the mistake that cost MC the game there. But, I mean, it's easy to identify. But is the mistake decision-making? Well, I mean, what really caused him to do that? Why did he move out so?
Well, I think it comes back to, you know, the starting build. At the very beginning of the game, what do we see MC do? He went for a very cautious expand, 1 gate expand, and built 7 gateway units out of that first gateway instead of the usual 2 or 3. Didn't rely on the mothership core that much. Then went for Blink, a very defensive upgrade, especially on Whirlwind. Chrono boosted out upgrades, got an unbelievably late 3rd, got 7 gateways actually before he even attempted to take his 3rd. Everything that MC was doing was slowing him down, slowing him down, slowing him down, slowing him down, to the point where when MC made that 1 attack error, he didn't have anywhere near enough to catch back up.
All right, well, this is the 16-year-old that takes the first map here in this best of 5 series. And now we move on to map number 2 here between these 2 players. Is it going to be equalized, or does Maru take a 2-0?
Up in the top right-hand corner, the youngest player in this tournament, one of the youngest pro gamers to achieve his level of success of all time, leading the series 1-0. It is Maru Prime.
And then down here is the blue Protoss player playing for SK Gaming. It's MC. If he was to be able to win BlizzCon, he would surpass $500,000 in prize money earnings. That's a lot of money here. A lot of money indeed. $250,000 up for grabs in this 16-player tournament.
Most importantly, the pressure. I mean, so much of this year has been about the next event. You know, you want to win in Challenger League, cool, you get into Premier League. If you get to the top of your Premier League, you get to go to the Season 3 Finals. If you do well, you know, the Season 3 Finals, maybe you'll get enough points to be at BlizzCon, but you know what? This is the end of the road. I mean, everything is building up to this, and we're seeing already a very different Maru. Look at that. He's going to be going for Command Center first again on what I would call kind of a dodgy map to go CC first.
Yeah, this is, I mean, as you described earlier, Maru is a player who goes command center first, or he goes super aggressive with a double barracks or something along the lines here. But surely he's starting to become a little bit predictable here with going for the same build over and over. And with MC meant to be knowing this, why are we not seeing MC do anything about it?
Well, I mean, it really depends on what MC is going to be doing as this follow-up answer. The fact is, a player who goes command center first into double barracks really isn't too big of a threat. So you can do, I'd almost call it, you know, the second round of corner cutting. You know, throwing down an extra forge before your robo, or throwing down your robo extremely fast and cutting gateway units. But there needs to be some corner cut that MC does to catch up to Maru. He's getting a Zealot now, and it looks like it might be an aggressive variant. He still could very well just be intending on expanding.
I think that we may see Chrono Boost go into the gateway here for a Mothership Core and a Stalker very fast and early on. He sees that there's no immediate bunker being made. This could be an opportunity for MC to do something.
Immediate gas goes into Warp Gate. We see that there's a Stalker en route. No Mothership Core is going to be coming out, but uh-oh, Maru looks like he was cutting a little bit too much. Might lose an SCV to a probe, but at the very least he's going to throw down a bunker. I don't like that choice of SCV to build a bunker.
Yeah, and that probe's going to go back in to try and slow that bunker from being built here. Gets one more grab onto that. And MC using the probe here to slow this bunker down. Is the Zealot and Stalker going to get there in time?
Oh my god, this is the most terrifying probe I've ever seen. He might even get 2 kills of his own. MC's being very cautious.
The bunker's not ready yet. It's only at 300 hit points. Yeah, probe goes in one more time here.
Oh!
And the Zealot's about to arrive. The probe does get picked off.
Oh, is he gonna... and he has to pull it back. MC has broken through the front. He's throwing down an expansion right now. He's cutting the Mothership Core to be able to have enough money. 2 kills on the Zealot, but there is not an SCV yet building on the bunker. Now that one joins down to the bottom, but Stalker's already there to greet. A 4th SCV is going to go down.
Yeah, excellent play from both sides there. The probe, first of all, to slow the bunker down, and then the SCVs to surround the Zealot to prevent the damage from going critical. And now with the bunker placed, MC knows he cannot break with just simple gateway units anymore and is thrown down the Twilight Council.
This very much so looks like an extremely fast blink play. Number of reasons why this is going to be happening right now. The biggest threat to a blink play is actually the medevacs coming out quickly with the barracks count coming up quickly. It's easy to throw down, you know, a bunker and repel a light amount of harassment, but it's really that second round with the gas units that make it difficult for the blink to really close the game out. So when MC kills off those SCVs, when he threatens to break through at the front, Maru is going to be delaying his gas. Now that means he might throw down an extra bunker or an extra barracks, or here maybe never even an extra 3rd command center, but this is a brilliant read from MC to know that all of those can get crushed by a fast blink.
I really think that you described something very important earlier on, though, where MC, if he does something, he's very reactionary to the success of what he plans. He killed 5 SCVs earlier on with this attack. 5 SCVs at that point of the game. A usual follow-up from a Terran player losing 5 SCVs is to say, all right, let me take a little bit of a gamble here. Let me throw down that 3rd command center. Let me try to catch up. And if MC is kind of on that level, what happens if MC says, all right, I've killed 5 SCVs, a good follow-up from a good Terran player to go 3 command centers to catch up? What happens if I go blink to punish something along those lines with 2 extra gateways coming in?
Oh my goodness. I mean, look at this. Look at the production tab. Stim has just started. Well, blink is halfway done. And Terran doesn't have Chrono Boost, Apollo.
They do not have Chrono Boost here, and they do not have Stim currently. They do not have a factory down. There are no medivacs on the way. If MC can execute this play, this is remarkable from the boss toss, but there is an SCV. It's looking for information, and it's going to get it.
It's going to scout down in there. It's going to find out everything that's going on. It looks like we're going to be seeing the units be popping up just below the ramp. Now, keep in mind, those Stalkers can, or a sentry on the low ground can force field the ramp. So that does mean that it's a really dangerous moment for Maru.
The SCV sees 2 extra gateways, it sees a lack of gases. There has to be immediate and extra bunker being put down. SCVs are going to have to be pulled. 2 bunkers come down. Maru knows what's coming, but can MC do this? He's got the Mothership Core. He can go into the main.
The last thing he's going to see is that it's blink. He's moved everything to the bottom. He's in the wrong place at the wrong time, blinking up into the main base. SCVs are going to be coming up, and MC, the time warp at the ramp.
Absolutely wonderful play here from the boss toss, but can He executed. The Marines are going down. There's no stim. Look at the supply counts. These Stalkers are being blinked amazingly here. He did lose the Mothership core, but he needs to keep these units. Is he going to blink into the main again with his reinforcements?
Well, looks like he's going to stay in there as long as humanly possible. The conservative route for MC, look at that, 36 supply to 65.
But there's no medivacs, so there's no starports. So he can keep on doing damage over time here if he does this well.
And get this, there's not even stim done yet. More Stalkers coming out and probes being snuck in one by one for MC. He's going to go for the bust at the front. It looks like Maru can't decide between trying to advance forward to scout or stay and hold up back at home, but MC's going to keep bringing the noise.
He's going to keep bringing the noise, and there's not too many SCVs left here, and they are starting to be targeted down. One bunker on the left. Oh, the SCVs, we're not repairing it. MC does bring one down. He's focusing the other.
He's using the Zealots to rip down the SCVs. Looks like bunker number 2. Maru doesn't have enough cash. It goes down. Bunker number 3, all that remains, a pair of Marauders. Getting completely caught off guard. They will fall. Stim, not going to be enough. Far too late. MC with a brilliant play.
All the SCVs are starting to fall here, which means that bunker's going to have a hard time keeping alive here. Maru is pulling a good defense, but I think that there may be too many units, especially with the reinforcements. MC blinks forward aggressively here.
And now MC can easily just pull around this bunker. The bunker's really only defending the few mules that are still repairing it. SCVs all gone. Zealots storm forward, and the bunker's going to go down. GG!
Boss Toss takes the second map here away from Maru Prime. A perfectly executed blink attack here from 2 bases gives the Boss Toss an equalizer.
And you know, if any of you are new to watching competitive StarCraft, or if any of you are looking for an example of what we say when we talk about MC being aggressive, being a timing attack focused player, that game is a shining example. Doing a kind of an unusual opening, but then dealing a good amount of damage, and then saying, you know what would win me here most of the time? A big blink play. Wasn't 100%, but Maru walked straight into that trap.
And it wasn't guaranteed a victory with that blink play. What happens if there wasn't a third command center? It wasn't guaranteed, but he's made it work. Everything went the way MC wanted it to. And now we will be going over to the third map in this series, which is Yongsu. It is a small map. It's the smallest map we have in our map pool.
I even think it's one of the most blink-friendly maps that has ever been made. This is the sort of map where if you go blink first, doesn't actually mean that you're going to be playing defensively. Has a lot of opportunities to pop up in there, but as the Protoss side of things, love it. Very, very good long-term map because you have 4 bases pushed against the backside of the map that you can defend very straightforwardly from drops, from direct attacks. And honestly, the best way to be aggressive is to go to the flanks as the Terran player, which means that literally sending Zealots through the center of the map is often a really high percentage play.
All right, well, we're about to jump into this next game here. Which way is it going to swing? Who's going to take the advantage in this series? Currently tied apiece, 1-1. Who will take map number 3?
Spawning up in the top right-hand corner, has a reputation for being one of the cheesiest aggressive players out there, but he's bringing a whole lot of macro to the table today. Tied 1-1 from Team Prime. It is Maru.
And down to the bottom left here, a multiple StarCraft 2 champion, a double European Premier League finalist. Playing for SK Gaming, it's MC! Day 9.
I'm ready, Apollo.
On a smaller map.
All right.
Does Maru go command center first again?
I actually think that he does. He might go for Cloaked Banshee, but given what we've been seeing out of him, he tends to do not what I say he's going to do. He's going to build a barracks, Apollo. But still, I do... The 2 things that we've been seeing out of Maru just in the last month or 2 is a lot of big macro plays and a lot of big Banshee plays. Could still be trying to shoot for something macro-oriented. Reaper Expand, very popular on this map because of that sneaky little backdoor entrance.
I think Reaper Expand could be very predictable here for MC to pick up on, especially because he's going to scout who he's going to see it, but you're not going to really see too many command center first here on this map. And I don't think that Maru's a player that would go 1 barracks command center either. It's going to be a command center first here, and if he's going to try and expand with the barracks, it's going to be a Reaper over here. And this is something which MC can use to his advantage. If he's able to maybe produce double Stalkers here, move across aggressively.
Now this is a very intelligent scout timing for MC because he's just going to park that probe by the barracks. He's going to wait till 3 minutes and 5 seconds. And that's the time when a Marine would be about to pop out. But if he sees no Marine, he's going to start to go, well, okay, good. It looks like you are, in fact, going Reaper. And then he's going to be able to walk away, defend for it, without ever needing to spot for him.
And he hasn't built a Zealot in this game, so he's not looking to get across to the other side very fast here. And he is moving a probe down, by the looks of it, to grab this fast expansion. Maru sees this movement, and is down here just messing up this probe from building that Nexus immediately. The fight is going to commence, and the probe will win this overall, but a supply depot is started here by Maru, who's going to slow down that Nexus from being completed. And without a Stalker or a Zealot being made here, this is going to slow down MC from expanding quite a lot.
You know, this is one of the big dangers of skipping the Zealot. People talk about this all the time. How do you cancel the Zealot? What do you scout for? How do you prevent something like this from happening? And I love this play. I think it's always going to do a lot of damage if you can go Engineering Bay Reaper in these sorts of positions. Even if they do make the Zealot, you have the Reaper to be able to kite it away. Now, it's 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Normally, you'll get that expansion a little after 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So that's a full minute of delay. That's going to be like 4 probes that he could have built that he can't now.
And with this Reaper alive here, it's going to be very difficult for MC to throw down any tech structure. And if he did, he'd have to be very careful not to allow this Reaper to get into the main base. As the follow-up here from Maru is double barracks, Engineering Bay down nice and early, so he is going to focus on a early +1 attack.
Yeah, I mean, the general logic is if you're going to be opening with a Vespene Geyser play, such as going for a Reaper, you better do a gas-based follow-up, like going for the +1 attack. You don't want to throw down a ton of barracks because now you're focusing on minerals when you first focused on gas. You want to have that sort of streamline, but this really fast +1 attack is a funky timing. It's really weird. We're going to see that there's not good opportunities for Maru to strike around it. It's fallen out of popularity a lot.
Maru did scout the Forge there.
Yeah.
What do you think is going through his mind? Is it just kind of a sigh of relief that it's not a tech structure that he'd have to worry about defense?
I mean, it's going to be very nice for Maru, because like you say, it's going to be that psychological, how nice. But Maru's build is scripted from here on out. There's not really going to be a lot of changes from here on, because, I mean, how can you adjust? You only have 2 barracks. You don't have enough money for a 3rd barracks. You're going to have just enough money to build a factory. So that's what you're going to do. I mean, Maru, boom, there goes down the factory. So MC is the one I actually think who's going to be having the big sigh of relief.
Well, anybody that may not even know StarCraft can tell that an attack upgrade is aggressive and an armor upgrade is defensive. Day 9. We have MC with a +1 attack upgrade being researched. Do you think that he could be planning something aggressive here?
I'd say that on any other map, I would say absolutely it's going to look like a 2-base timing. On Yonsu, though, Blink is so versatile and so strong that often players will go for the +1 attack because it can be good for offense and defense. You can blink around, get into good positions. Your Stalkers, if they're taking damage, you're going to be blinking them out anyway, so the armor's irrelevant to them.
Well, we do have the first-person view here from MC, and he's about to engage or have an engagement with these Marauders and Marines. You can see MC controlling his units here, and he loses 1 Stalker immediately.
Where's the Mothership Core?
Mothership Core, I think, is floating in between the 2 bases, if I'm not mistaken. There
she is.
A little bit late to the party here, as MC is controlling his units as best he
the
can.
force fields! An amazing set of force fields getting thrown down. It is going to be 2 sentries down, but what an awkward timing from Maru. His +1 is about to finish. What is this supposed to do?
Yeah.
He just got +1 attack. That was like a heavily upgraded Marine that got to die in the base.
Do you think that 2 Marauders, 6 Marines is a good trade-off for 2 sentries there, which are the most important units?
I think it was a very weak trade for Maru. What's going to be happening is Maru should need the +1 armor. Why would you get a really fast Engineering Bay for +1 attack without the armor upgrade? MC, I really like the way he's following this up. He's, warping in those extra sentries. He's going to be going for Colossus, and he might just delay Colossus range in order to get some extra sentries early on.
Well, MC is moving forward with these few Stalkers. Did have to replenish those sentries, unfortunately. And the Observer did spot the turret, so isn't going to go too deep into that natural area. Maru is moving forward. Stim, seconds away from finishing, would catch any loose stalkers, but MC for now has stopped probe production, as we can see. Blink on the way. A Colossus will be started immediately, but it's not the fastest of robotics facilities. 4 gateways, that's 7 in total now.
This does look defensive to me from MC. He doesn't have a good attack timing planned with this, and I like this play, just building the sentries. You know, killing sentries almost always going to be a positive, but you can always rebuild them, and they can always get more energy. So Maru had a window where he could have attacked and be up against no force fields, but look at that. Maru just now starting his his combat shield upgrade. MC has a very easy defense right now, especially with 7 warp gates.
I've actually seen this play from MC in the past here, is that yes, he's defensive right now, but depending on how the defense goes against Medivacs, how many units he may kill or may not kill, he does have the option to spring aggressively near the completion of +2 attack. But
there it is. Looks like there's going to be the step forward. Maru's trying to exploit the lack of those force fields, but he's very surprised to see that high level of sentries with that much energy at this point in time. And it looks like the Mothership Core getting a little bit over-eager, a little over-bold. How MC is able to do this is he's conserving all the energy on his Nexuses, or excuse me, Nexi. And this allows him to have the Chrono Boost save to say, oh, is it time to do a timing push? Great, gonna Chrono Boost my upgrades, Chrono Boost the range, and go for it. Or hey, looks like I didn't do much damage with my defense. I'm gonna be Chrono Boosting out probes. He has that flexibility, but it looks like MC smells blood in the water. He's cut probe production, Chrono on nothing but upgrades. Great planning by MC.
Oh, MC. He grabs one of the Medivacs.
Such an excellent blink map.
I think he's gonna be aggressive here with this day 9. He's got to be careful. There are Stim, Marauders, and Marines coming down to the natural here. MC's a little bit out of position.
He does manage to get down the Photon Overcharge. It looks like this will be a full retreat from Maru, but where are those Stalkers from MC? He's very slowly, very carefully pulling himself together. I mean, if you're Maru, you're going to click on those Stalkers and say, what is +1 attack doing there? And you're going to start building bunkers, barracks, Vikings, anything but a 3rd command center.
There's a couple of things I've noticed from Maru which could lead to his defeat in this game. Is first of all, he didn't start Viking production immediately. He did go up to 5 Medivacs, which sometimes is considered too many, or 4, and then straight over to double Viking production. And the second thing maybe a couple of other Terran players would have noticed is that there's only been 1 Viking in production for quite a few cycles here, so the current count is only at 2.
Jeez. This is very smart as an answer from Maru. He says, well, if I don't have enough Vikings, I got to buy time to get more Vikings. I'm going to move out. I'm going to use my excess Medivacs to be retreat tools. Generally very risky, but I mean, Maru has showcased absolutely amazing control with those Medivacs, dodging away from even blink Stalkers. So right now this push is coming forward from MC. He is banking everything on this 2-base play.
He really needs to land the Stalker shots onto the Vikings well. If he doesn't do this, then the Colossus will fall very fast in this game, and we're going to have to see how this is going to work out for MC. He stopped pro production a very, very long time ago. There's no opportunity for MC to fall back and take a 3rd. This is going to be aggressive. Is he going to be able to pull it off? He's looking with his observer to see the army position. Can MC pull off another powerful move?
Well, he is in a dangerous position for Maru to deal with. There's so many narrow angles. I mean, Maru is already getting ready. He's transferring some more SCVs to the front line so he can pull at any moment. He's leading with an SCV. He's trying to find out what angle is this engagement going to be at. He's throwing down the 3rd command center because he has a little bit of extra funds, but Maru isn't thinking about the long term right now. He's thinking about how do I stay alive against this attack in the now.
That's right. He knows it's there. He sees the army. He's looking forward here. His 2-2 is on the way, though, so the longer this game goes on, the better he survives. He loses a couple of units there, but the Viking count is ready to go. MC's looking to pounce, looking to do this. That +2 attack, though, if that completes, this does get harder for MC, but he's got a lot of Stalkers.
There's the Zealots at the front lines, and MC, force fields off the ramp. The Vikings have managed to connect with the Colossus, and it looks like MC's angle is atrocious in this spot. Maru, what a brilliant way to force this engagement on his terms, and suddenly Maru is looking good on the defensive side of things. The Medivacs are at the back. Viking count still maintains a really high count, 6 or 7, but what do you target now as MC? He's trying to blink, trying to pick off the Marauders, but Vikings have landed, and MC's hopes are done. Good game.
Well played from the 16-year-old there. Perfect defense against what MC was planning for a very long time there. Excellent move.
Guys, Maru versus MC. We're now about to go into game number 4. Maru takes game 1, and then it's a flip-flop back and forth, with MC taking 2 and 3. But I want to talk about that game that's freshest in our mind right there, because as we were going up, MC was sort of posturing up to attack into that natural, and In Control even said, MC, you don't have to do it.
No, don't do it. What I liked about the pressure, and this is, I mean, a lot of times, especially in big stages like this, you get kind of that tunnel vision where you're like, what if I could win right now? Then I'd be an idiot not to try it. And MC, of course, he's going to do aggression first. That's what he's going to try. He pulls up. There's a great concave from Maru. Maru has his Vikings in that key spot, which is on that high ground. Harder for those stalkers to hit them. And then MC went full. He went full aggression. He just blinked into that bunker, picked it off immediately, and then every step after that was like, oh crap, I shouldn't be here. Like he was like just leaving, but it was too late. It's rough because that's going to be the kind of mistake that MC makes. It's very rarely like he overqualifies defense. It's always going to be he overestimates offense.
Todd, sitting on a 2-1 score right now, with Maru being the current leader. That's got to make you happy, considering what your predictions were. What do you think about what we've seen so far?
My Protoss heart is very, very sad, obviously,
Of
but
course.
Maru played this game perfectly. He saw the attack coming. He saw the +2 attack upgrades as well. He's like, well, you don't really do those upgrades if you're going to play defensively, if you want to get charge loss and Templar. He saw the amount of stalkers. Losing the way he lost his factory. He saw the entire army of MC. He saw that there was more than 10 stalkers. He's like, you don't really get more than 10 or 12 stalkers unless you're going to all in with Colossus. So he started the third base, and then when he saw the army coming, he's like, I'm out of here. He canceled the third base, got into a perfect position. We even saw it with his own view. He was preparing perfectly for this attack, and then in the end, the defense was just too good. MC didn't know what to do. He blinked forward. He tried to surprise his opponent, but it just didn't work. The concave was good enough, and the Vikings.
I'm loving the first-person view, by the way.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
this is so good.
Set that up, man. That was so sick. I like it.
All right, so In Control, you know, we've got maps 4, possibly 5 coming up. I'll give you what we could call a StarCraft 2 mulligan. Any change in those predictions at all?
No, absolutely
All right,
not. Listen, if every time it got rough for our presidents, okay, the Bastos as president of Protoss, if it got rough, we wouldn't have a whole lot of presidents sitting in that seat for very long. I believe he can dig us out of this recession, this score recession, and bring us back on top.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yes, he can.
Well, and Mars just sits up there. We did also, just a quick update for those in the main stage who've been so focused. SOS did advance over Hero 3-1 over on the Esports Plus stage, and then Duck Duck versus Innovation began, and Duck Duck went up with a quick 2-0.
Yeah.
And then Innovations brought it back 2-1, but that continues to be, I think, a little bit of a surprising series over there.
That's terrifying.
I want to see those first 2 games to see what happened.
I'm going to call a win if Duck Duck somehow does win, because everyone's like, all of our predictions were Innovation wins. But I said,
except Red Eye.
I said his cheese, man, maybe with his cheese, he could win a map or 2.
The power of the brie.
Red Eye,
What? Give him a little bit of credit, man.
he's a great host.
You don't believe in that prediction?
He troll predicts. Duck Duck over Innovation, nobody picks that. Come on, except for Duck Duck.
Anything you feel like in this situation, MC being down a game, needs to be worried about with Maru sitting at 1 game ahead? What do you think?
Maru's got a game to throw. He can cheese now, and he likes to do that. And that's not. There's no bitterness there. That's the cold hard reality. Maru will do a proxy Rax build. And MC, he's been defending great, but now he has to have that in the back of his head because he's only got 1 game to give, whereas Maru can throw a game away.
And his Belcher Vestige too, which really allows for a lot of room with these different builds that we can see sometimes. So maybe Jeff likes to call cheese and then see it happen.
And we still haven't seen a ghost yet either.
That's been a good prediction. That's been pretty good so far.
Yeah. So we've got a few more minutes before we go into the next matchup. I'm curious to get an update on Innovation versus Duck Duck, so we'll try to get that as soon as we can. The next map we're going into, I'm actually not even 100% sure what it is. It is Belcher. Okay, thank you very much. If I was looking at some of their win-loss records, actually Belcher is one that they have both had very good win-losses on. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Maru's sitting at like a 10-2. I want to confirm that. So 10-2. And the Boss Toss, on the other hand, is sitting about at a 8-7. So 72% to 80%. Both of them seem to favor this map.
Sounds like a 3-1 to me.
Could
yeah,
be. We'll see.
think so?
Belshir Vestige has become, in recent times, kind of the new Daybreak in the sense that this is where every time there's a map pool, it almost always includes this map because it's considered one of the better maps. Swarm hosts give people problems on this map, but other than that, it's fairly balanced. So I'm looking at MC's game plan so far, and sure, this was a timing attack. Certainly, it was a 2-base timing attack, and that's kind of been what he's been doing. He did that blink timing as well in game number 2, but this map, strong for the 2-base timing attack, also good for 3-base if you want to do that, defending across that line as opposed to having a base that a Terran player can attack, pick up, and then just go inside the main on. Belshir Vestige not quite like that.
Yeah.
And we saw MC go for the blink before earlier. I really feel like on this map it will be significantly weaker to go for this kind of play. If you
so
were,
do you think he will, Todd? I mean,
no. If you were to be aggressive as MC here, I think it would be with lots of gateways. It feels unlikely we're going to see a Stargate at the same time.
Yeah, well, that'd be tough. I mean, you go Stargate and then they double racks you or something like that. That would be like really rough.
Anything that you feel like Maru would need to watch out for at this point? Or do you think...
Cheese. Just cheese in general. Even any kind of proxy, because we know he likes to go for command center first. MC knows that. And MC has been scouting very early. So imagine here Maru goes for like command center first on the low ground, MC proxies.
Right.
This is going to be bad news for him.
Okay, well, we'll find out if that's going to happen. We're about to jump into game number 4 here in just a moment. Got an update also. Duck Innovation 2-2. One more game to go, game 5. It's down to a nail biter. Let's send it back over to the casters and resume with game number 4 between MC and Maru.
Thanks so much for that analysis, guys. I'm not going to lie. I think that is going to be really hard for there not to be a cheese in this game. I really, having watched a lot of Mario games, this is a map where he loves to do the double 11 racks.
The double-double.
The double-double is actually a type of hamburger. I'm sorry, Freudian slip. But, you know, MC, certainly Belshir Vestige does sort of, you know, reasonably work well with his style. But, I mean, we've been seeing out of Maru that really strong drift to answering these big mid-game pushes. And the way he does it is he's just getting barracks 4 and 5 before command center. It's like a really simple adjustment.
All right, well, it is now time to begin this next map between these two players. Are we going to have this series closed up, or will we go on to map number 5?
Down in the bottom right-hand corner, the champion of WCS Korea Season 2. If you'd like to see him advance in this game, give a cheer for Maru Prime. And up in the top left-hand corner, the president of Protoss, currently in what In Control describes as the score recession. Can he tie it up? Can he bring it back? From SK Gaming, it is MC! I can't believe Duck's 2-2 with innovation. That's amazing.
I think a lot of predictions were a lot of 3-0s in favor of innovation there.
I was one of them.
But that's a massive result there from Duck. And of course, you can watch that game. It's been played on the other stream that we have here at BlizzCon. But we do see the barracks inside the main base here for Maru. He hasn't taken a gas alongside the barracks. So for the time being, it does look like it is just going to be a single barracks into an expansion. And MC is scouting nice and early again here.
I'm not going to lie, this is the last thing that I would have expected Maru to do, is to go 1 racks expand. I mean, in general, it's fallen out of popularity. Most players are enjoying the command center first style.
MC has opted to take double gases.
I love a second gas geyser in the morning. I mean, given the fact that he's not done this all those times in a row, you know something's up his sleeve.
Well, another thing that we haven't really seen too often, apart from the Reaper, is scouting from Maru in the early stages. When he goes command center first, he's not really getting across the other side of the map too fast. But there is an SCV moving out, and MC does see that. But first of all, he's going to go in, have a look at the gases, and say, okay, my opponent's going to go 1 barracks command center here. Do you still think that MC now, who has seen his opponent doing this, who has seen his opponent move out with a scouting SCV, would dedicate to something aggressive still?
I think that's a really nice proposition from MC, because this is the most controlled, the most scripted, the most understandable opening It's the most researched. I mean, MC's been going up against this since the dawn of StarCraft 2 time. Look at that 3 in each gas geyser. This really indicates that he wants to be doing something special. I mean, look at this probe. It's drifting to the 3rd at the right. It's heading through. Would not surprise me to see a pylon, a Stargate, big aggro plays, chrono boost on the Zealot, and get this, warp gate and no mothership core. I mean, if you're Maru, you're going to be asking, where is the rest of that gas going to?
MC with a little mistake there, having 4 probes in one assimilator. And at this point, when you're so little on probes, you really can't afford to be having a mistake like that. 1 probe virtually doing nothing here. But there is a pylon, and very predictably, Maru has spotted it, so he knows that there is that there.
But I mean, this is what's so great about being up against a 1 barracks expand. He can only send Marines 1 at a time. He can't deal with that. He can't stop it. This is not about hiding. This is about timing. And there's the Stargate going down. It's going to be 1, maybe 2 Oracles, and almost certainly straight into a Void Ray play. Actually, he can just early expand from this too. I mean, MC has all the power in this spot, has all the options.
All right, well, let's see how well this is going to be defended. Maru's just going to go up and be like, all right, there's a pylon there. I already know. What is it? Okay, it's a Stargate. So now he knows exactly what's going on, but is MC going to be able to pull this off? Because Maru knows everything from the very beginning. He's moving his Marines into the main base. He's got a single Marine on the natural. MC, if he was to be able to look at this and be like, all right, he's got 4 Marines inside the main base. There is an option. He could run past that bunker. It's still difficult to call here. But this is going to be very hard to pull off.
This is a very tense way to potentially go out in a game 4 game point situation. There's Oracle number 1 en route, but look in the main base. How do you distribute? There's 3 big things that you really need to be thinking about as Terran. Defending the front is the first one, getting the add-ons for the barrack is the second, and then thinking of how to fit in the engineering bay. Right now it looks like Maru's answer is, I'm just going to abandon the front, and this is going to be a big sign to MC that might be even okay to start building probes again.
All right, well, the mothership core is scouting around here, has seen this. A pylon is down. MC still with 4 probes in 1 assimilator, by the way. That is a massive mistake here. That's a lot of minerals lost throughout this game.
Oh, look at that. A clean abandoned ship. MC, how do you answer? There's the probes going down again. And MC looks like he is going to try to begin going for a more economic play. Now remember, of the 3 things, only 1 has been accounted for by Maru. Oh, and he scans and sees no base.
Well, he sees the probe more importantly, so he doesn't see a base, but he sees a probe moving down, and that's a clear indication here that MC should be looking to expand. And that's a very early scout there from Maru.
But I mean, look at this. There's still no engineering bay. There's factories gone down. There's still no add-ons. Once the add-ons get planted, this is where Maru runs the risk of losing everything. A single time warp with 5 Oracles rushing in, and it's see you later entire.
Maru's been very good with his SCVs. He's managed to escape with another one here, and this will get the confirmation very early on there. So he saw the probe moving to be built, and then he's seen the Nexus
There
down.
it is! Time warp. Goodbye, Bio. Looks like 1 Oracle will not even fall. This is the danger. This is the threat. The engineering bay has only just fallen. There's not a single turret in sight. How do you hope to come back from a devastating situation like this? SCV lead? Not anymore. 24-27.
Yeah, and another time warp goes down there. He's chasing these Marines. An excellent move there from MC. Look at the supply difference here now, day 9 after that.
What a stunning, what a brilliant play. Right now, 14 Marines out, or excuse me, 14 Marines killed. And get this, Void Ray en route. A very nice choice. The Oracles are going to run out of energy, but in very small numbers, a Mothership Core and a Void Ray can take out plenty of Marines.
It's a very smart play there from MC. Maru not expecting that at all. And the Mothership Core does go down, but the Oracles, 2 of them still survive with that Void Ray. And MC has this expansion down. It's going to be very difficult for Maru to try to take an expansion of his own in location now because he's got so few units.
There's really only one defensive choice for MC right now. He's got to get the gateways up. What are the other options he has? What, a Colossus? Storm? No time for any of that because at any moment this bio could be sweeping in. So, ooh, great mine placement. That shadow's very hard to see between the gas and the minerals.
Well, MC has thrown down the Twilight Council here. And is starting to take the gases on his natural. Does have a probe lead after that successful Oracle attack. And he's having a quick look now. Is his opponent expanding? Yes, just about. 1 more SCV will fall, though.
He's not only taking out these SCVs, he's also baiting a couple of stims while keeping his units alive. 5 gates. Pretty low number. It's a very scrappy situation for MC right now. The supply lead technically with MC, but wait a minute. Where's the SCV production? It's It's only just begun again? Wow. Maru's been on 24 workers for quite some time, Apollo.
Well, here is MC now, just moving around with this Oracle. Blink has been started, but yes, it is 26 workers, SCVs that is, to 39 probes here. The boss toss sitting at 5 gateways, and is very active right now. Moving across, scouting around, finding out where Maru's army is.
Well, looks like that Stargate, even though it's falling down, this is a precious 30 seconds that MC's picking up. I know you're killing my base at the right. You can't be heading into the front. We're starting to see that Oracle's importance is through the roof right now. It has to keep a hawk's eye on everything. All the movement for Maru in the middle of this map. Only just now a Robo-Bay going down. I mean, this really shows the desperate situation that MC's in defensively. Even though he has the supply lead, he doesn't have his big damage dealers.
No, he does not right now. He's sitting at very few units. Does have 7 Stalkers inside the main base, 8 Stalkers now, and a Void Ray. With these Marines stimming up forward. And are they really going to be able to achieve much here? An overextension with Blink Stalkers on the way.
Gosh, look at that. Barracks 4 and 5 before the 3rd again. Maru is always aware of how easy it is to lose to an MC timing attack. It is not about trying to win with a major economy. It's just getting those little edges and those little control bouts. But wow, 47 probe is pretty fast, pretty good.
Yeah, he's got a nice lead there when it does come to that economy. And the Oracle being chased away by a few stimmed Marines. There's a lot of Stalkers here. Maru has to be very careful. He does not want to be losing any Medivacs or any units carelessly. There's poke forward here by Maru. Just kind of look at the army. Sees it's kind of large.
That Void Ray is actually going to be able to do some serious work against those Medivacs.
Ooh, a big lift
there
up here,
it is.
Day 9.
Uh-oh, this is a dangerous move for Maru, but he just has the sickest spider sense. He knows exactly when there's those threats. Uh-oh, this is a weird engagement. A very weird engagement angle by MC.
And Maru gets away. That was a bit of a weird engagement as you described there, but overall, MC was the loser in that, losing the Void Ray. I think he lost the Void Ray and the Mothership Core there. Both units did go down.
Yeah, I mean, the power of Bio, just pure brunt Marine Marauder Medivac, can't be discounted. It is so just treacherous for a Protoss player to be controlling against that properly in a time like this. And that's why that supply lead for MC just did not really take into account.
Oh, he's a little bit supply block now as well, and he can't get that Colossus out.
Well, he's getting Colossus range, so he's going to have great specs when they do arrive.
And SCVs are coming with this.
Uh-oh, SCVs are coming. It's the big pull.
Uh-oh, MC's got to be very careful here.
Oh, and he's going to lose none. How is Maru doing this every time?
He's playing this remarkably here, and this push forward here with that supply block on this Colossus. MC's got to use his force as well, but he doesn't have that many left.
Uh-oh, he's going to have to pick off these SCVs. It's going to have to be another warp-in round of Zealots. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough. We see an amazing time warp, an amazing Guardian Shield, but Maru is engaging this so well, so cautiously. But MC has managed to still equalize.
Yeah, he's got a lot of gateway units here, and it's bought enough time to get this first Colossus out, but MC doesn't want to take too much damage. He's going to lose a couple of probes here, but he can move forward aggressively, especially because he's got Blink Stalkers now.
The Zealots are getting stuck. The Zealots are stuck. They are not participating in the fight. The Colossus has not begun to take damage yet. The Blink Stalkers, oh no, the Colossus getting surrounded, gets taken out. Maru has shut MC down at the front. The early Stargate pressure not going to be enough, and MC is looking close to falling.
Oh, Maru, an excellent attack here. MC played this out so good at the start of the game, but Maru moving forward now. And as we can see by the supply count, it's not going to be good enough here for the boss toss at the global finals as Maru marches forward and maybe taking this 3-1.
Maru with uncanny reading of his opponent, preparing these heavy builds. The boss toss, who came in as the most successful SC2 player of all time, is eliminated. Maru proves his win in Season 2 was not a fluke. An incredible play.
Picks off MC 3-1, and will move on to face off against the winner of Innovation and Duck Duck.
An absolutely stunning series, Maru proving he is not a one-hit wonder. He doesn't need to win with cheese. His long-term is excellent.
I mean, Jeff, you predicted it was going to be MC 3-1, but it's actually Todd who takes the victory here, saying that Maru's going to take it 3-1. Now, Todd, let's go back and rewind just a little bit because you said, the one thing that might be dangerous to Maru is the cheese. We had the proxy Stargate, the 3 oracles came out. Didn't really do the economic damage. A lot of Marines were killed, but obviously it's something that Maru was able to bounce back from really easy. What do you think went wrong for MC there?
I mean, killing 13 probes is pretty good, but he's not the best. You're going to want to kill more than that, especially if you invest into many oracles and just the huge aggression that MC went for. From there, he was able to stabilize. He got Blink going. He managed to get Blink at the time Maru was going to start dropping at as well, which was very good. But I disagree with the choice of going for Colossus, because he was exposed to a lot of strong timings that could hit and do a lot of damage. And then from there, we saw Maru moving out, starting to apply pressure, and at first it was looking pretty okay for MC, and then suddenly there was this move around his natural, where he lost his Mothership Core with like almost full energy. He lost some very important units, and then from there Maru was like, I've just done a very important move in this game. I've killed your Mothership Core, you're not going to have Photon Overcharge, I'm just going to pull SCVs and kill you, because I'm on 5 barracks, I'm going to pull SCVs, and there is no way you're going to be able to hold. At first, it looked like MC was going to be able to hold, but in the end, Maru completely broke him. He killed a ton. I mean, during the last fights, MC dropped down to 70 supply against like 110 or 20, so it was just very good execution by both players until MC finally messed up a little bit too much at his expansion and lost the game.
When players are on this level, it's oftentimes a game of inches, and with that mothership, the Mothership Core going down at the time that it did, the second Mothership Core had, I think it was 88 energy when that first push came in. And Maru wasn't super committed to it in the sense that even without, actually with just the time stop, he already backed out of that. He was like, I don't want to deal with this right now either. So you have to imagine with the longer time stop going down, or not time stop, excuse me, but Photon Overcharge, there's more of a chance for MC to recoup and to make up for the difference there. That word's going to stick to us now. We're done for. The other thing to look at though there too is though, if you go Blink, that's the finesse upgrade. You're not going, I mean, you do go Blink for the aggression that we saw earlier as well, but this was defensive. Yeah. And when those medevacs were in that weird situation where they were kind of thinking about going up into the main base, but they were trying to unload right here, that's when a Void Ray and the Mothership Core went down, like Todd talked about. Yeah. But on the flip side, that's also, with a clean Blink, an opportunity for MC to pick off 3 medevacs and destroy the game.
Can we talk about that Blink? Because it looked like, just based off of the location in which he tried to Blink, we've seen that awkward situation before where like 1 or 2 stalkers get over the ledge and then all the rest of them are like sitting up there like a bunch of dumbasses going, what do I do now? But had that happened, had 6 stalkers gone down there, there's a potential of 2 of those medevacs going down and suddenly buying MC a lot of time. Do you think that, and obviously in the thick of battle, these things happen, right? Well, can we talk about this?
Pro players have been in that situation before as well, where they do Blink those 6, 7, 8 stalkers. The medevacs actually unload and are being joined up by another 10, 20 Marines or whatever, and then you're just like, well, I just lost my entire stalker force. So it's understandable why MC was kind of caught between a rock and a hard place there, but it's just for us with the bird's eye view a little unfortunate, because had he got those medevacs, that timing attack of course never comes. MC is sitting, he's producing those Colossus against a low econ Terran, because let's also remember the reason that SCV pull came is in part because that Mothership Core did go down, which is going to trigger that, but the other part too is because he was behind economically. He was down almost 20 supply when Terrans are usually equal or usually even ahead. But because of that opening, he was behind.
Would you agree that MC messed up here? Maybe because he was feeling a little bit hasty, is that the right word? Like he was trying to make something happen with his Blink Stalkers. Because this is a huge investment. If you reveal it, and Terran is aware you have it, it's not going to do much. The Terran can't stop dropping. He's just going to keep his army grouped, and then in those big fights, those Blink Stalkers don't do much. So MC, he felt compelled to do damage right there and then. Pick off at least 1 or 2 of those medevacs. He blinked, he messed up, and then from there, it all goes downhill.
All right, guys. Well, guess what? We know our first round of 8 matchup with this win by Maru, because Duck took down Innovation 3-2, eliminating him from the 2013 WCS Global Finals. Seems like, mind blown, absolutely. I can't wait to go back and watch those matches. But we've got our winner, Maru, the youngest player here amongst the top 16, and Chobra is standing by with our winner's interview. Chobra?
Thank you so much, Marcus. And here we have yet another winner at BlizzCon 2013 with the WCS Global Final. It is Maru Prime taking down the Boss Toss. Give it another big round of applause, everyone. So this is the 3rd time that Maru has faced MC, and we saw in the pregame interview that Maru didn't really care too much for MC so far. I want to hear what he has to say about that. 그러면 이제 장민철 선수를 세 번째 상대하게 되신 건데 세 번 다 이기셔가지고 그러면 이제는 진짜 새로운 스타2 선수들의 세대다 그렇게 생각하시나요?
세 번이나 만난 줄 몰랐는데 다 이기게 돼서 되게 기분 좋아요.
Maru's like, I didn't know we already met 3 times, but it's good to know that I've won it every single time I've met MC, so it's a very good feeling to have. Now, it wasn't all easy though. Game 2, we saw Maru did get dismantled a little bit with that blink play from MC, and of course, Game 4, I know a lot of people were holding their breath because MC was trying to go with that proxy oracle. I want to see what Maru was thinking during that whole phase. 그럼 이번 마지막 경기에서 그 전진 예언자로 장민철 선수가 조금 당황할 수도 있게 만들었는데 게임을 볼 때는 많은 시청자들이 별로 당황 안 하고 그냥 계획했던 대로 플레이한 것 같다 그런 말이 나왔어요. 어떤 생각을 하고 계셨어요?
생각은 하고 있어서 별로 당황 안 한 것 같고 이렇게 잘 막은 것 같아요.
Of course, I did scout it, and I was predicting kind of what was going to happen. I wasn't too, off guard or anything like that with that play from MC. And then I believe I played it out quite well. And who could argue? He ended up winning the series with that game. Now, if you guys have heard, of course, that his opponent will not be Innovation in the round of 8, but it will be Duck Duck with a victory over Innovation. I want to see what Maru was expecting to see in the round of 8. 자, 그럼 이제 8강 상대가 벌써 정해졌는데 이순영 선수가 아니고 덕덕 선수인데 그거를 예상은 하셨는지 그리고 이제 그 상대를 알게 됐으니까 어떤 생각을 하고 계신지요?
이신영 선수랑 하고 싶었는데 경덕이 형이 올라와가지고 그냥 저번 시즌에 이겼기 때문에 이번 시즌에도 제가 이길 것 같아요.
I wanted to play against Innovation. A little bit surprised that I'll have to play Duck Duck, but I already played him last season. I beat him that time, so I'll beat him once again. Give another big round of applause to the 16-year-old wonder here at BlizzCon 2013 in Anaheim. Back to you, Marcus.
We heard it right there. Maru wanted to play Innovation. His wish will not come true, but he says, I've defeated Duck Duck before. This is going to be a challenge that I've overcome. And we'll find out what happens as we go into the round of 8. But coming up next, I think the crowd pretty much says it all, ladies and gentlemen. Naniwa versus Sulky here on the main stage for the 2013 WCS Global Finals over on the Esports Plus stage. An equally exciting match, Deer versus Tasia. But we get to focus a little bit on Sulky versus Naniwa. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about this match in just a moment. I'm going to get your predictions as well. Let's talk a little bit about the fact that Naniwa made it here. A lot of people thought this was going to be a top 16 that was dominated by Koreans, but Naniwa in the last moment and a tiebreaker, he is able to defeat Revival 3-0 and come in. You guys, I want to hear from you. I mean, what do you think? The hype surrounding this match seems to be very electric. A lot of people excited for this one and have been waiting all day for this matchup.
Naniwa to be a Naniwa fan, it's to be on an emotional roller coaster. Throughout the WCS season, he's always been doing really well because he is one of the absolute best foreigners, but also one of the best StarCraft 2 players there are. But I can't remember which tournament it was, but it was one of the Dream Hacks where it was a very easy attendance for him. There's WCS points up for grabs. It made a lot of sense that he should just go. And at the time, he didn't. And being Naniwa, he didn't necessarily explain himself. It later came out, and through him, is that he said, actually, I was at a pretty low point. I didn't have a lot of confidence in my play. I didn't want to do it, and I thought I would embarrass myself, so I did not. And that's something that a lot of people were taken aback by, because Naniwa was kind of known for his confidence, I would say. He came back. He said he's into it. He's ready. And then he got the points, faced Revival, and now here he is. So it's a really cool story, and it's been a journey.
Well, the guy behind you showing the Swedish flag, I hope that's not the only time that you're going to get to use that this weekend, but we're going to find out. We are moments away from our third matchup today from the main stage for the round of 16. Let's shoot it over to Paul before we take a quick break.
Thank you very much, guys. More analysis, of course, to come from our analysis desk. There is some tweets going around right now about the predictions and what have you. Let us know your predictions via #WCS and #BlizzCon, using Twitter, of course, and make sure you're following at StarCraft for all the latest updates on both matches. So remember that we have the Esports Plus stream and the main stage here. Now, next up, there's the small matter of a Swedish Protoss. Yeah. It is, of course, the one and only Naniwa, who goes up against the #1 player in the world, Sulky. Don't go anywhere.